Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to tonight's live Saturday evening. It's the 24th of February, 2024. 2024. Welcome in, everybody. We're that much closer to spring, if you think about it. That much closer. I have actually, look at that, flowers on my sweater tonight. I'm excited for spring. So welcome in. If this is your first time here, I'm Tanya. We do talk true crime daily on this channel. If that's something that you're into, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, bell icon to be alerted to new content, all that good stuff. And if you guys don't mind just taking a second, hit the like button. It really helps the channel and the algorithm. So I'm going to pin my message really quick, my little thing on the top. I forgot to do that. And set my messages to all messages. That way I could see everybody's messages tonight. Because mine are always on top messages. I don't know why. I don't know actually the difference between top and regular, but welcome in, everybody. Let me see who's all in here. I saw we had some people in here tonight. I'm excited. Look at that. Ella Blue, DM, Cheryl. Cheryl, yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why when I said your name, Cheryl, I was thinking that wasn't your name. I know your name, Cheryl. Oh, no, you didn't. Oh, Ella Blue, if you made a comment like early today, or like, oh, actually, I just made the live. But no, it should be okay. Did you get blocked? Did you get timed out or anything? Did Nightbot get you? It did. You're fine. Yeah, it did it to Cheryl too. And she said, hi, Ashley. She's just saying hi to people. Why are you doing this, Nightbot? It timed out Cheryl. I'm just now seeing this. I know you guys probably all put it in. Your brains are probably laughing about it now. But wow, all you did was say hi. That is so weird. So if Nightbot times you out, come back and let me know. I don't know how to fix that. Like, it's been weird. I was DNA number 3. Hey, Jan. Yeah, I think that maybe Nightbot, that's weird. That is weird. Nightbot, stop worrying about what we're doing over here, you know? I say worse things than the people in the chat. Come on now. Hey, PKC, I'm always late. You know me. It's life. I would swear I could be sitting in this chair all day, and as soon as I go live, something will happen. And I'm like, what? But today I actually was running late because I wanted to look nice for you guys. So I was like, I need to wear something nice tonight. Oh no. I think yes, of course, Tina, if you need a break, it's always good to take one. It's always healthy to take one. It really, really is. If you're still in, it's going to sound kind of crazy, but I took a day and a half break. I mean, it was just a day and a half off of YouTube, completely off of it. It seemed like a lifetime, and I felt so much better. Like, I felt refreshed. Ever since then, I've come back a new person. And then I went on vacation, and when I was on vacation for a week, I did pre-recordeds. So it was like I was in the chat with you guys, but I wasn't here. And so for like a week, or maybe like 8 days, it was nice, kind of, just relaxing. So I'm ready to go back to California and relax some more. Hey, Stephanie, welcome in. Oh, Cheryl, I'm sorry. Oh, you said your healthcare sucks. Oh, man. Are you at the hospital? Let me see. Almost 6 hours. Oh no, you're tired of. Oh man, that's the worst. I don't know if you guys know, like if you ever been in the hospital, but they have those cheese, like the cheese crackers, and they're a certain brand, and you can only get them there. They're not a Cheez-It, but it's like a Cheez-It. It's the best thing about being at the hospital. It's the only thing good about being at the hospital. Hey, Jesus loves me. Hey, welcome in, everybody. Hey, Ashley. Yes, Ivy's doing okay. I need to write her back. I saw that she wrote me on Instagram, but it didn't show me the message. But I did type in there, like I looked in real quick, and it said she was okay. And she said she was home and she was okay. And hopefully she'll be in tonight. So welcome in. If I missed you, I'm sorry. I was just scrolling through, not even paying attention. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Doodlebug. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Lenora. Hey, welcome in, Sarah. Welcome in, everybody. Hopefully you guys are having a great weekend. Let me know if you did anything fun today. Hey, Doodlebug. Hey, Oopsie Daisy. I was thinking of you. Oh, you're awake. I need to do a day live. I was thinking of you. I said that actually last night after this live. I was sitting there talking to Vincent, and I was like, I need to do a day live for the people that can't make it for the night lives. Because our girl Jan can make it. Our girl Isabel, sometimes she can't make it. Positive vibes because it's so late over there too. DM. Mhm. Hey, T. Salas, welcome in, everybody. It's so good to see you guys. It's going to be a good live. We're going to make it a good live, even though we're talking about a crappy subject. Dane Lee, where you been? Hey, Frank, how you doing? Oh, no. They won't. Oh, man. I got a letter today in the mail, and it was from my insurance, and I thought it was saying that they were going to drop me the way it read in the beginning, and I oh my gosh, I thought I was going to die. West Virginia Holler Girl. I really was like, I'm going to freak out and I wouldn't be able to do a live. And hey, Aries. I was like, oh my God, what would I do? So I know your real name. That's why I say it. And I like your channel name too. That's a good channel name. It really is. Speaking of channels, if you guys don't mind taking a second to go over and subscribe to my second channel, I am going to go live over there, I swear. I have so many good things I want to talk to you guys about YouTube, the streets, all of it. I'm giving you guys the dirt. I'm going to give you guys the back scenes of the YouTube streets, the good stuff, not the drama stuff so much, like the ins and outs, the ins and outs. That's what I want to do. So tonight we're going to be talking about Chad Doerman. He's a real life piece of crap. Put a 1 in the chat if you know about this case, because it's been going on since last summer, but a lot of people don't really know about it. So put a 1 in the chat if you're familiar with the Chad Doerman case, and then put a 2 in the chat if you don't really know, you have no clue what I'm talking about. Oh, cool. You guys knew what I was going to say. You knew what I was going to ask. Oh, cool. Well, cool. Makes my job easier, I should use my nickname my ex gave me. At least I don't even want to know. Hey, Alicia. Hey, Kathleen. Hey, Preppy Bestie. That's a cute name. Little Peppa. Okay, everyone's saying Gen Dogs and Gen ZC. I said Gen Dog. Yes, Doodle Mom. So this case is actually very close to me. I'm going to actually look that up really quick. It'll be easier on my phone because I think it's an hour and 15 minutes. I planned on going for opening statements, and it's in July. And now that they're doing all of these proceedings, I'm kind of getting the itch to go. So let's see how far I am. And I think that it's actually on the way to Vincent's work. So I could always drop him off and then go down there. Hour and 20 minutes. That's not far at all. That's literally next door, I feel like. You know what I mean? So I'll be down there. I really want to, we've already deep dived into this case. So I do have a playlist. I did a FOIA request right when this case happened. I went and I got a FOIA request. We looked over all the body cam from him inside of the cell, all that good stuff. So I have all of that. And I still have that. I'm going to put in another FOIA request. I know some of this stuff is gagged now. So they won't unseal or they won't give me all of it, but they'll give me some of it. And we did go through, it's not working. Why is it not doing that? I'll have to grab that link. But I'm gonna see if I can grab it. No, I don't know what I'm saying, but that's okay. Because I'm subscribed to my second channel, but for some reason it doesn't come up when I type it in. So let me see. That's crazy. I'll have Vincent send it to me. Actually, he sent it to me earlier. I'll have him send it to me again. Or Jan can do it, I bet. Why isn't my link working, Jan? I think Jan has the link too, but I have Vincent send it. Thank you, Kake. No, me neither, Aries. And I'm gonna give you guys the dirt. I can't wait. That's the reason why I haven't went live on my second channel is I wanted to be structured, not where I'm just rambling off, but I'm excited. Thanks, Jan. I text Vincent. He's probably asleep already. That's funny. He said he wasn't going to go to bed. So let me pull up a picture of, this is Chad. The other day he was in court. He is indefensible. Happy Cappy. I mean, really. He confessed to doing what he did. I mean, he was sitting outside with the dang gun. But just for a little context, the courtroom is very nice. We have very nice courtrooms in Ohio. I will say that. But on June 15th, 2023, it was in Monroe Township, Ohio. His three sons, Clayton, Hunter, and Chase Doerman, ages 7, 4, and 3. And I'll show you a picture of them. Cuties. Cuties. They were executed. There's no other word for it. At their home. The 34-year-old wife of the suspect, she was shot and wounded in the attack. And her daughter was held at gunpoint, but escaped. She was trying to protect one of the boys. Police arrived and arrested 32-year-old Chad Doerman, and he was the father of these 3 boys. And he was charged with felonious assault and kidnapping. He pled not guilty on June 23rd, and the prosecution right now is seeking the death penalty for that. And that's it, their sister right there, which in my opinion, I don't think that he was trying to go after her. I don't think he was wanting to go after her. I think he had his target, and it was those 3 boys. Dude, oh, Mom, you've been a member for 4 months. Look at that. We love that you're here. I love that you're here. Thank you so much for being a member that long. That's a long time. Okay, Aries. If you're listening in when Otto shows up, I'll say, Otto. Aries, you should start your own channel. That would be awesome. Okay. Let me pull up the first article here. I want to show you guys. So that's a little background into his story. I mean, there's so much we could go through, and we will. We'll go back through all this stuff that we haven't went through before, or we've went through before, but it's been a while because this happened last June. So, June. So we have it's been almost a year. Wow, my lordy. So now he was back in court, and he is trying to get his confession thrown out. And he's trying to say that there was some stuff with the HIPAA because when he was in there in the county, he was seen by a mental health person, counselor, and she was there to see him because it's a high profile case, his charges, and she wants to make sure that he wasn't, the S word. So when she was interviewing him, there was a camera in there, and I guess 2 of the guards were standing close enough to where they could hear. And so they're trying to attack that. But she said she does that with everybody. She's like, I do that with everybody that's charged with something like this, this high of a charge. So I don't think it'll get too far, but they do a good job. I love the mods. I think actually, it's not even just the mods. It's just all of you guys keep it like this. You really do. Because I know when Jan can't make it when I do the late night lives, she's like, I got to work, girl. You guys come together. You guys pull together for me. You'll welcome people in. You're always the first to do that. And I love that. That's why I love this chat so much. A father accused of, I'm just going to say, I guess they're going to take my monetization off this video anyway. I mean, really, it's hard to talk about it without saying the words. So a father accused of gunning down his 3 young sons appeared in court on Wednesday with his defense team claiming his rights were violated during questioning by the Claremont County Sheriff's Office. And if you haven't read the PCA, which is called something else here, I'll let you know exactly what it's called. It's horrific. Chad Doerman, 32. The age is what gets me. They're so young, so young. Confessed to planning and carrying out the deaths of his sons Clayton 7, Hunter 4, and Chase 3 for several months before shooting them at their home on June 15th, according to court records and the Claremont County Prosecutor's Office. But now the defense alleges detectives used coercive tactics to get him to confess. Doerman invoked his right to a lawyer, but detectives continued to interrogate him, and his medical privacy was violated in jail. Detectives violated Mr. Doerman's constitutional rights from the outset, the defense alleges in court records. Claremont County Judge Richard Fearnick set Wednesday's hearing to hear from both the defense and state, but he won't issue a decision for about a month. Sounds like that's about the time I feel like judges make they're like, I'll make my decision in about a month. Range Rover alone. Teslas are terrible cars. Like I don't know. Like we had one, we had a rental and they were not very good. It was very weird driving. Claremont County judge, all right, that's when he's going to make a decision. In her opening statement Wednesday, and I did listen through some of this. It was 4.5 hours long or something. But I was listening to a lot of it. They had witnesses and everything. I mean, I think that I think the officers did what they were supposed to do. In her opening statement Wednesday, Assistant Claremont County Prosecutor Lara Barron Allen rebutted all allegations that Doerman's rights were violated. He voluntarily waived his rights, she said. To prove its case, the prosecution called multiple people to the stand, including responding members of law enforcement who were asked to detail their interactions with Doerman. And we saw a lot of the interactions on the body cam. Virtually every interaction with him between the deputies and detectives was recorded, Prosecutor Barron Allen pointed out. Claremont County Deputy Chad Popham, a canine handler, was the first witness to take the stand on Wednesday. Deputy Popham says he was the first officer to arrive on the scene, and we heard him. He was the one that was yelling to get down. The first thing he says when he approached Doerman's home, when the defendant was sitting on, I'm gonna read that over. Deputy Popham says he was the first officer to arrive on the scene. The first thing he says he saw when he approached Doerman's home was the defendant sitting on the porch near a rifle, and it was sitting right next to him. And he said, "This is Doerman. I ain't going to hurt you. I ain't going to hurt nobody." Doerman told the deputies once he was taken into custody and handcuffed on the ground, according to sheriff's body cam footage. And remember, he said, "Don't hurt my dog." Remember when he got thrown to the ground and the dog was like jumping up a little bit and he was like, "Don't hurt my dog. Just don't hurt my dog. Just don't hurt my dog." Like, your dog is, I love dogs, but your dog's the least of your worries right now, buddy. You have kids in the yard, unalived. Deputy Jeff Rudd testified next. When he arrived that day at the scene, Rudd said he saw Popham and Dorman handcuffed, and another deputy appeared to be performing CPR on one of the children. And on our last live, we saw that when we were watching the video. I actually stopped it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, look at that officer." You could see him running across the yard, which is blacked out, of course, where the child's laying. And you could tell he's running with like, it looks like a first aid kit, like maybe like something to help him breathe. And it's so sad because that child's unalived and that officer's still running over there to try to help. And I can't imagine what they saw. And I think that was the one that was cussed at him. And I'm surprised because that they didn't cuss at him sooner. Deputy Rudd told Doerman he had the right to remain silent and to effing use it, according to his body cam footage. "Yes, sir," Doerman responded. Well, he unalived 3 kids. I mean, come on. After he was detained in the back of the cruiser, Doerman began to hit his head on the window because it was too hot inside the cruiser, Popham testified. The deputy rolled down the window halfway. The prosecutor questioned if it seemed like Doerman understood what was happening during his interactions with law enforcement. Rudd said Dorman did not seem out of it. He was aware that he felt hot and that his handcuffs felt tight because he told them about it. He was sober. On the drive to Claremont County Sheriff's Office, Dorman yelled some things the deputies said he couldn't understand, but at one point he said he heard Dorman yell, "Take me to jail." "No, we're going to take you to Dairy Queen and drop you back off at home." "Yeah, where else are we going to take you?" I mean, that's where we're going. Detective Michael Ross with the Claremont County Sheriff's Office also took the stand. He told Dorman he was going to read him his Miranda rights. Dorman knew what was being read to him because he responded, "Yep," before the reading was done. Yeah, solo talk. That was my favorite. Well, remember when he was like walking him back to the car and I think he cussed at him that time. And that's when I heard it. And I was like, it's about time you cussed at him because I've been cussing at him this whole body cam time. The whole time we were watching the body cam. Now this is where it gets a little crazy. So I'm going to read through it. Doerman denied unaliving his sons multiple times as he was questioned, but then said something Ross said on the stand Wednesday that he felt was very important. Doerman brought up the Bible. He made a comment that the Bible says you kill your firstborn, you kill your secondborn, you kill your thirdborn, but first you kill your wife. I didn't kill my wife, Ross recalled on the stand. Don't know what that means. If anyone can help me out with that. Ross said it was like a slow drip of information as he questioned Doerman for about 3 hours. The court filings allege that Doerman requested a lawyer after questionings began, according to the state interrogation video. And then this is what was said. There's Ivy. First responders, they do. I mean, and Reba was a first responder. I don't know if she still is, but she was. And I've personally had somebody that was a first responder for my car accident. He held my hand for 2.5 hours. With me being, however I looked, crazy look. You know what I mean? Like my face was broken. My legs were under an engine. And he sat there because he was afraid the car was going to catch fire. He said, I wasn't going to let you go out like that. I said, dang. Because I talked to him like 3 weeks after. He actually contacted me and wanted to make sure I was okay. And I had no clue who he was because I didn't know. I didn't remember any of it. But he said I was talking to him the whole time. I was like, wow, what did I say? He said, well, when you got in the ambulance, you asked for the guy's phone number. So that sounds about right. So the court filings allege that Doerman requested a lawyer after questioning began, according to the state's interrogation video. Mr. Doerman says, I'll wait for a lawyer. I don't know. Give me a couple of days and let me talk to a lawyer so I can get nice, good answers. You can't answer the questions truthfully. Like, I mean, you're right. Detective Ross, I understand. Do you have a lawyer? Mr. Dorman, we have family lawyers. We have family lawyers. Detective Ross, who is that? Is there someone I can call? Dorman said, Keith Doerman. I think he meant like, can he call maybe the lawyer? Is he related to you? Yes. How is Keith related to you? My dad, Ruby Franklin, she is in the CIA. That's what Doerman said. Detective Ross says, is she a lawyer? Is Ruby a lawyer? Mr. Dorman said, she is in the CIA. Detective Ross, I know I heard you say that, but I don't know. Maybe if she was a CIA attorney but you said your dad is a lawyer. Mr. Dorman, negative. We have a family lawyer. All right, but you don't know who that is. And he said, no. I have a lawyer on retainer, Steven Sesser. Call him up. He is a short little asshole. He is, but I love him. That's my lawyer. Call him. I could call him anytime. He'll say, Tanya, what do you need, girl? Let's do it. Thank you, Jan. And oh my gosh, are those your dogs? That picture is so stinking cute. I just noticed it. Dog Doerman, I know. I keep getting it wrong. I can't get people's names right, so we'll call him that. I don't like this guy. He can share a jail cell with Adam and the rest of the guys. So it says here, the motion to suppress goes on to say Detective Ross left the room and then came back and started questioning Mr. Dorman as if he hadn't just requested an attorney. Approximately 45 minutes later, Mr. Dorman asked, where is a lawyer? Well, you said you had one. Detective Ross replies, Laura. Mr. Dorman responds, a lawyer. Detective Ross answers, I don't know. You tell me. Ooh, Detective Ross, you can't really say that, I don't think. Dorman claimed multiple times he didn't know what happened. The detective testified, but once Dorman was alone in the interrogation room, he said, what the F did I do? What the F did his wife, let me do? She didn't let you do nothing. She was holding on to them babies. She's trying to get them babies away from you. Dorman's defense wrote in the motion to suppress that Detective Ross didn't address what just happened. He does not even mention the words attorney, lawyer, or counsel, much less re-advise Mr. Dorman of his right to elicit a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary waiver of those rights. It is the detective's duty as trained law enforcement officers to realize the critical importance of the moment when a suspect invokes his right to counsel. The burden was not on Mr. Doerman to understand how his demands for counsel triggered the detective's duty to stop the interrogation, nor was the burden on Mr. Dorman to resist the detective's attempts to keep him talking. Mr. Doerman, his defense alleges, invoked his right to an attorney. He unequivocally requested to speak with a lawyer before further questioning. The interrogation of Mr. Doerman was over 3 hours long. He invoked his right to counsel at least twice. Detectives ignored Mr. Doerman's request and continued to question him as if he didn't ask for an attorney. During cross-examination, the defense asked about the tactics used during interviews, especially deception. In response, Ross said deception is a dangerous tactic that he did not use it with Doerman. He didn't need to. The defense later asked if Ross read Doerman his Miranda rights completely. Ross said no, but he feels he covered the important parts. He should have read them in entirely. The motion to suppress also alleges that the Claremont County Sheriff's Office, referred to as CCSO in the court filings, was present when Dorman was being evaluated for medical purposes and violated medical privacy laws. The sheriff's office, it states, inserted themselves into what should have been private confidential discussions between Mr. Dorman and his healthcare providers, coerced Mr. Dorman into submitting to their presence. Essentially, the CCSO forced Mr. Dorman into a choice between receiving no healthcare or allowing the police to be present. Now, in my opinion, what they're referring to is when he was in the room with his counselor getting a mental evaluation. She works at the jail. He just unalived 3 people. That's what he's accused of anyway. He's accused of that, right? She says on the stand, he did not come in there shackled or handcuffed. So there's obviously going to be a camera in there because that's just what for everybody's safety. But secondly, there are going to be officers posted right outside that door or as close as they can be to her. You know what I mean? Like, so that they can protect her. In my opinion, I mean, like they need to protect the people that work for the jail as well. You know, I mean, yeah, his stepdaughter saw him, I know, right? And the mom. I mean, there's witnesses for days. Incredible. I mean, obviously she got her hand shot. I think he's going to try to do something like he's went crazy, but maybe you were a little, you know, you had to have did something had to have been going on there, but you planned this for months. Next to take the stand was Renee Butcher, a liaison for the Claremont County Jail, who told the court that her job is to interview inmates if they need additional mental health resources. And that's Renee, the one I was talking about. Butcher says she spoke to Doerman the day he arrived inside his jail cell alongside a deputy where he appeared to be calm. And they kept saying, like, well, you usually like interview these people like in a classroom setting. Well, they probably aren't wearing what he's wearing at the time. Like he was in his turtle pickle vest or whatever they call it. So that's why I think she went in there. I think it was just safer for everybody not to transport him through the jail and just to have her go there to him. But they made a big deal about that. The defense asked Butcher why the jail asked her to speak to Doerman for a screening. She responded, due to the seriousness of his crimes. Claremont County Jail Supervisor Melissa Schemes said in her testimony, Doerman automatically qualified for a routine checkup due to the crimes he was accused of committing, even though he did not request any mental health resources. That's what they're going to do. According to prosecutors, the jail medical staff nurse Amy Griffin was called to Doerman's cell because he was having chest pains. Schemes activated her body cam during the medical assessment for documentation in case an inmate was taken to the hospital. And we all know what he's accused of. You know, he, on June 15th, in case you guys are coming in and you don't really know about the case, this is what Chad Doerman is accused of doing. On June 15th, 2023, the Claremont County Sheriff's Office received a report for an open line with a woman crying in the background, saying a man was shooting children. I think the first time that we covered this was on like the 17th too. So we have a lot of, information. When deputies arrived at a home on Laurel Lindale Road, they found 3 boys dead in the yard: Clayton Doerman, 7, Hunter Doerman, 4, and Chase Doerman, 3. Sitting on the side porch with what appeared to be a firearm was Chad Doerman, deputies said. This is a death penalty case, and my goal is to have this man unalive for slaughtering these 3 boys, these three little boys. Claremont County prosecutor Mark Tookfall, I cannot pronounce that, announced after one of Doerman's hearings last summer. His 3-year-old son was in his mother's arms as she tried to protect him, but Doerman ripped him from her arms and put in his head. His stepdaughter, meanwhile, ran down the street to a nearby fire station to get help, according to sheriff's body cam footage. A passerby called 911 after speaking to her daughter as she fled, according to the recordings of the call. And we played the recordings also. I had those. She says her stepfather is killing everyone in the family, the caller reported. Doerman is also accused of shooting his wife in the thumb when she tried to stop him from killing their youngest child. He was arrested that day on 3 counts of aggravated M and then later indicted on nearly 24 charges. Dorman faces 9 counts of aggravated M and other charges of kidnapping and felonious assault in a total 21-count indictment. His trial is set for July 8th, and he remains locked up in the Claremont County Jail on a $20 million bond. $20 million. You ain't getting out, buddy. Call your lawyer. Ask if they would do 10%. That's a lot, isn't it? Yes, Sarah, I know. They do me too. I'm like alleged. I'm trying to be like, saying alleged. But it's like, it's kind of hard to say that when, these are the kids that are involved. And now this little girl has no siblings. I can't even imagine. She's so strong. She actually went and played softball like 2 weeks after this. I think like 2 weekends or the weekend after this. They were doing like some sort of tournament and she wanted to go and play in their honor. And I'm like, what a strong little girl. And if it wasn't for her, she was the one that ran down the road to get help. She's the one that tried to save her brother by telling him to run, just run. She was going to take the bullet for him, Mr. Rosebud, I know. I don't know why. I think they gave him a bond just so they can make it so high, But I wanted to play this video for you guys. It's from Court TV, so it's just Chad Doerman. He just wants his confession suppressed, thrown out. He doesn't want it allowed. Now, even if that was the case, there are 2 eyewitnesses. There are actually more than that. There's more than that. Now, I'm wondering if he had any cameras on his home. I should check that out. I had like aerial footage of his home. We'll have to check that out. Right, maybe, yeah. They shouldn't be around. Yeah, it's not alleged there's multiple eyewitnesses, right, Ashley? Yeah, he's not going to do well. No, look at him. He looks like a little boy with the hair to the side. They really got him. Look at him. Look at him here. That's how he came in to court the first time, or like second time, right? First time he was crying like a baby. And then now he's like this with the side part, or the swoo part, like to the side. They're trying to make him look like he's not the monster that he is. Basically. That's why, yeah. Right, yep, fire department right down the road. That's where the little girl ran to, fire department. I mean, like, come on now. Now let's see if I've gotten like clipped by YouTube yet for all my bad language. Because I haven't played a video. I haven't got clipped yet. Okay, we'll see. Yeah, Google Earth, that would work too, yeah. That's what, yeah, maybe they really are. They really are. I definitely know that. Yeah, you remember Lenora? He was crying. Oh God, it was like, get over it. It was worse than Murdaugh. It was bad. It was bad. So there's this video here from Court TV I wanted to show you guys. I thought it was pretty good. I was watching it earlier. Basically, he's just trying to take back the murder confession. He just doesn't want it in court. Now, I probably wouldn't want a bunch of people to know that I unalived my 3 kids either. Like with your own voice, like hearing it from, I probably wouldn't want to say that either. See, Jan, everybody's in a suit. Everybody goes in a suit now. Yeah. Everybody goes in I guess, I don't know. Are they all taking a chapter, a page out of the Brian Koberger book? Because I never have seen this before, like, they always just go in their jails. Like, what about Richard Allen? Someone write him and say, hey, I want to be dressed in something different. Wonder if he asked. He wouldn't probably get it. But I wonder if he asked if they would let him. I wonder if he has asked. I mean, no one wants to look that bad. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't know. Yeah, DM. Yeah, I don't think that he's, well, at first I kind of thought he would try to take his own, but now I don't know. I think he's just going to ride it on out. He's not going to plead. I don't think he's going to plead guilty unless it gets so close to trial and it's a DP and he gets so nervous. Like if they don't throw out the confession and things are just rolling and, you know, in the prosecution's favor, everything's going well. I think maybe he may confess to not get the DP, but that prosecutor was like not even wanting to hear any of that. He was like, we are going for the DP. Like no ifs, ands, or buts. So yeah. The judge does just deny him everything. Yeah. He had so much hate in his heart for his wife. Yeah. Oh yeah. And like, I mean, to go after your children, to go after your boys, especially your boy, those are your boys. I don't get it. They're so cute. They were so young. I mean, like they didn't even get to live. Yes, Jay, I believe that he knew that that would hurt his wife the most. And he came home from work that day early. He was like, come and lay down with me for a nap. Like he was out of control. And I wish she would have saw it sooner to get out of there, you know? I know. Alec Murdoch, he does. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play this. If you guys don't mind just taking a second, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Also, I was telling you guys earlier, we're that much closer to spring. It's the 24th of this month already. And this month only has 28 days.
The hearing is still underway for Chad Doerman as his defense pushes to get his confession thrown out of the case. His defense.
I want to let you guys know too, I'm playing this one because this one has like a breakdown of the court hearing. So we don't have to watch the full 4.5 hours. But if you guys are interested in watching the full 4.5 hours, let me know. I'll play it. I don't mind.
Says Dorman clearly asked for a lawyer during police questioning, but instead of police stopping their interrogations, they continue. Prosecutors say they have ample evidence to dispute that claim. So we want to get you back into court now. On the stand is Detective Michael Ross. He led the investigation. Let's get you back into court.
As his dad, what did he say about Ruby Franklin?
He said that she was in the CIA. And I said, well, is she a lawyer in the CIA? And he said, she's in the CIA. So neither name that he gave me were even close to lawyers.
And after that, so you were able to confirm that neither Keith Dorman nor Ruby Franklin were lawyers and that he was aware they were not lawyers.
Correct.
And so once you confirmed that neither Keith Dorman or Ruby Franklin were lawyers, what did the defendant do?
He changes the conversation and starts talking to me about whether he knew me or didn't know me. He changes the conversation. We're talking about lawyers and who I can call, and he completely changes the subject on me to, what I had talked about earlier about knowing him from 2015.
So when he changes the context of the conversation, was that in response to a question you had asked him?
No.
So he just says something along the lines of, I don't think I've ever met you before.
Yeah, he just continues talking about something unrelated to the lawyer issue that I was trying to clarify.
So did he ever clarify for you?
No.
So when he changed the conversation subject, what did you think at that point?
I thought that he was playing games with me and trying to control the interview.
So can you describe the defendant's demeanor as you then continued the interview?
Yes, it continued the same. His demeanor continued to be the same. When I would ask questions that were unrelated to what had happened that day, he knew the answers right away and had lots of details and could remember things. When I asked him about the tough questions about, did you shoot your sons? The things that really showed that he had some culpability in that whole situation. He didn't know, and he struggled to answer, and he would rock back and forth in his chair, and just had extreme anxiety about those tough questions.
So was there a very different manner in which he would answer you depending on the topic of the question?
Yes, if it was unrelated to what happened that day, it was very easy for him to answer, and it was very difficult if it was about what happened that day.
And as the interview continued at approximately 1 hour, 35 minutes, 50 seconds into the interview, did the defendant make another reference to a lawyer?
He did. The conversation was about Laura, his wife. We were talking about Laura, and I was asking him questions about Laura. And then he, again, interrupts me and says, "Who's the lawyer?" And at the time, I thought that he said, "Who's Laura?" Because we were talking about Laura. So I looked at him and I said, "Who's Laura?" And he corrected me. He said, "The lawyer."
So when he corrected you, he just said, "the lawyer."
Yeah, he said, "The lawyer."
Did he correct you in any way on the question, who is the lawyer?
No, I said, "Who's Laura?" And he said, "The lawyer."
Okay. And did that mean anything to you at that point?
No, I was confused what he was talking about. I was still trying to figure out why we're talking about Laura. And now he's saying, "Who's the lawyer?" So I said, "I don't know. You tell me."
And what was his response?
He just kind of went, "Huh," like he didn't know either or didn't care.
And at any point during the interview, did the defendant deny shooting his sons that day?
Yes, multiple times throughout the entire interview till the very end.
And was there a point during the interview in which the defendant was taken to use the restroom?
Yes, he had made some comments that he believed his wife Laura had poisoned him, and I offered a urine test, which he consented to.
And so did you escort him to the restroom, or did a uniformed deputy escort him?
No, a uniformed Deputy Greer escorted him to the restroom for that urine test.
And as a uniformed deputy, Deputy Greer would have had a body-worn camera, correct?
He was in uniform and he would have had a body camera, but because he was going to the bathroom for obvious reasons, there wasn't, any type of recording where he would have been exposed or anything like that.
And to your knowledge, did Deputy Greer ask any questions during that trip to and from the restroom?
He did not.
And did you?
I did not.
Were there any other points during the course of the interview that the defendant was left alone in the interview room?
Yes, there were times where I left the interview room, where he would be in there with Detective Green. There was times where Detective Green left the interview room and we would be in there alone together. And then there was also a time where we both left the interview room and Mr. Dorman was in there by himself.
And what, if anything?
All right, we'll step aside, take a break here. We'll have more from that courtroom in Ohio when we come back. Keep it here on Court TV. Tonight on Closing Arguments, we're in a verdict watch in the case against Adam Montgomery. The New Hampshire father is accused of murder. Be live on my next. All right, folks, welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Michael Ayala. Before we go back to court in Ohio, let me bring in my guests. Joining us to discuss, trial attorney Krista Ramey and L.A. County Deputy Public Defender Philip Dubé is with us as well. Thank you both for joining me here on the program. And Krista, I'll start with you because I want to get both your opinions on this one. I can tell you, as a defense attorney, when I saw the questioning and I saw the words being used by this defendant, my red flags went right up, Krista. I want to know what you think about this one.
I did too. I think that you're hearing, well, it wasn't clear and unequivocal ask for a lawyer, but was it? I think that I think that's a very good argument that he very clearly asked for a lawyer. He says that, who's my lawyer? Who's the lawyer? He doesn't have to have a lawyer. He doesn't have to have a lawyer on retainer. When he gave his dad's information, that could have been for him to speak to his father, so he could have gotten a name for a lawyer. The fact is that he did request a lawyer. And at that point, all questioning has to stop You can't continue to question. So you stop questioning and you figure out what's going on. Does he really want a lawyer? Because he had previously waived his rights. So, you can really kind of maybe nail him down a little bit, because it sounds like he might have been a little off. His mental state at this point might be a little questionable. He wasn't making a lot of sense. So I can understand maybe trying to drill down on it. But you drill down on the point of, do you actually want a lawyer? And if you are unclear about it, I think as a law enforcement officer, you have to stop the questioning until you are clear about it.
And Philip, I think that's what makes this hearing so important, because we know at this point, this guy did something that's reprehensible. There's no defending it. But his rights have to be protected. I mean, he's exactly the type of defendant that needs to be protected. And officers, police, those in power need to understand that if someone mentions a lawyer, the questioning has to stop. They have rights just like everyone else. And that's why this is so important, even with these horrible facts.
Of course it is. And this is exactly why a lot of states have passed their own laws requiring all police interrogation interviews to either be videotaped or at a minimum audio recorded, so that it's not a fight between a defendant and law enforcement. The cops can take the stand at a Miranda hearing and just simply say that the defendant was advised of his rights, that he understood his rights, and that he waived his rights. The court needs to actually hear all that. There should be something in evidence to corroborate it. Otherwise, you're stuck. Now, I must say, though, that the law is pretty clear throughout the nation. Edwards versus Arizona, and of course, we have the Minnick case out of Mississippi that says essentially that once a defendant invokes his right to counsel, in other words, says, I want a lawyer, all interrogation by the police must stop. The problem with a lot of defendants is they don't affirmatively ask for a lawyer. They'll say something odd like, where's my lawyer? And the response could be, I don't know, maybe he or she's in court, or maybe he or she is on vacation. Or do you happen to know the status of my attorney? Well, no, how would I know? As opposed to, I want a lawyer. Once the affirmative demand, that invocation is made, those are the legal constitutional buzzwords for the cops, and they know they're dead in the water. And short of getting him his lawyer or the defendant himself reinitiating communication with the police, they got to stop.
Well, let me ask you this.
And the remedy is exclusion.
Yeah, absolutely. At least everything up until the point where he asked for a lawyer would be allowed in, but anything after that is a problem. But Krista, you talked about it earlier. He basically says something to the effect of, give me a couple of days, let me talk to a lawyer so I can get my answers right. Something along that line. Does that rise to the level? Philip makes a good point. You can make these odd statements that can be or are open to misinterpretation, but does this rise to the level?
That statement says to me, I want to talk to a lawyer. And so if he wants to talk to a lawyer, you better get him that lawyer if he can't afford one. Because one will be appointed to him. We know our Miranda rights. It is, to Philip's point, I think Philip makes a very good point. That's why it's important that these interrogations are recorded, whether it's through body, the Miranda rights are given with a peace officer wearing a body-worn camera or in an interrogation room, because when you have someone who maybe isn't as clear, I don't know that people really speak the way that courts would like us to speak. I want a lawyer. So I think that that's the problem here, is that he didn't use those exact words.
Yeah, that gives them that little window that I think is what the state is arguing as well. All right, stand by, guys. I do want to take folks back to court now. Still on the stand, Detective Michael Ross. He did the interview, this interview that the defense is trying to get thrown out. Let's get back into court for more of his direct examination.
I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't read the Miranda word for word. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Were they so anxious to get him to say something on the record that they didn't read it fully? I mean, I wonder what part he didn't read. Was it like literally like something that's just like a sentence or two, or is it like paragraphs? That's what I want to know.
And it continues recording audio and video. He said, almost like under his breath, like a whisper, she let me do. Yeah, another time it looked like he was checking the back of his shirt for blood. There was another point where he's looking around and he says, "Where's the cameras? Where's the cameras?" So he was looking for cameras. And then that picture that I talked about earlier was still on the table. There was another point when he was in there by himself where he looked at it and kind of flipped it away from himself, like in disgust.
And all of those things occurred while he was alone in the interview room.
Yes.
Now, in between those times where he was left alone, did you come back in and pick up the interview again?
Yes.
And as the interview continued, did he continue to refuse to talk about what had actually happened that day?
Yes, he said that he didn't remember, he didn't know, he didn't understand why he was there.
But did he provide you with other information that made you believe he was aware of what was going on and what had happened that day?
Yes, because as the interview went on, it was like a slow drip of information. I would gain a little bit, and then we would keep talking, and then I would gain a little bit more information. He had lots of details about a lot other things, other aspects of his life, but again, couldn't remember what happened that day.
And what kind of details specifically stick out to you that he was able to provide you during the course of the interview?
Things like we wanted his safe combination so we could check the safe, and he knew that, the safe combination. He knew a lot of details about who had access to that safe and who didn't. He had extensive details about when the last time Laura shot his gun, which was about 10 years ago, and who else was shooting the guns, and a lot of details about things like that.
And so again, did the trend continue that when you began to talk about his culpability, he lost all recognition of what was going on, but when you were talking about other details, he was fine answering your questions?
Yes.
Now, the interview, when that records at your department, it cannot record more than like 2 hours.
All right, we'll take a break here. When we come back, the defense gets their opportunity to cross-examine the detective. Keep it here. All right, let's get back to that courtroom in Ohio where Chad Doerman's defense team is trying to get a confession that he gave to police that he executed his own sons thrown out. They're claiming, of course, that he wasn't read his Miranda rights properly and that he asked for a lawyer, but the questioning continued. On the stand is the detective who did that interview, that questioning, that interrogation.
Well, he did ask for an attorney, right? But then when the cop said, okay, like, what's their name? And he was like, my dad. Like, who do you want me to call? And he's like, my dad. And he was like, well, who's your attorney then? And then he was talking about the lady in the CIA. So, I mean, what do you expect him to go with that? Like, I guess he should have stopped it and been like, no CIA lady, like, do you want a lawyer? Maybe he should have said that.
Detective Michael Ross, he's on cross-examination now. And Dorman's attorneys is asking him about the reading of those Miranda rights. Let's get back into court.
All right, you discussed briefly the Miranda rights. You did not read all the Miranda rights on State's Exhibit 3, did you? On your card?
Word for word, no.
Well, you left out some pretty important parts, didn't you?
No, I think I covered the important parts, and he understood that he had the right to an attorney, and he had the right to have an attorney if he could not afford one.
Okay.
Those are the important parts, and he understood that.
Well, you left out the part as far as that right to an attorney is. You did say you have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions. But the part of the card goes on to say, and to have a lawyer with you during questioning. You did not read that part, did you?
No.
Why not?
That kind of is redundant. It kind of repeats itself, and it's not the important part for me.
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. One's talking about advice before you question, and the other's talking about having a lawyer present during questioning, isn't it?
Yes. I'm not a robot. I probably should have read the entire card, but I'm not a robot.
And then you read, if you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed that you left out for you before any questioning if you wish, right?
Again, yes, I must have left that out.
You did testify that you said, do you understand? You didn't say you understand he's right, but you said, do you understand? But he'd already said yep before that, right?
He said, yep. And I said, do you understand? And he said, mm-hmm, and shook his head, yes.
Okay. And then you left out, are you willing to answer some questions, correct?
Is that on the card?
Well, do you not?
I couldn't tell you word for word what's on the card. I could tell you essentially what the card says.
What is that, Mr.
Staging of it.
I'm sorry.
Stage Exhibit 3, I'm handing the detective.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fair and accurate copy.
that's it. And you, yes, it does say, you have highlighted, are you willing to answer some questions? I did not ask that.
Okay. Do you know why you did not ask that?
No, because I believed that he wanted to talk to me based on our short interaction earlier in the interview where I said that I wanted to talk to him. And he said, that's fine. Actually, I said, I want to talk to you if that's okay. And he said, that's fine.
Were you afraid he was going to say no? I'm
No,
not going to
I
talk to
wasn't.
you?
No, I wasn't afraid. I'm just not a robot. I didn't read the card word for word. I read to him his Miranda rights and Miranda warnings.
How many interviews do you think you've done, detective?
Probably hundreds as a detective and probably thousands as a road patrol.
And how many times do you think you've given Miranda rights to suspects before interview?
Well, sometimes I don't read Miranda because they're not in custody and it's not needed. Sometimes I read them from that card, and sometimes I have them signed a written waiver of Miranda warnings. Probably hundreds, if not thousands.
Okay.
I don't know.
Surely he had Chad sign the warning.
Now, you said that you were, well, I'm going to put words in your mouth, but you just talked about he asked for a lawyer, or whether he asked for a lawyer, what he said in regards to getting a lawyer, and that you were trying to clarify that, I think is how you put it.
I said that he muddied the water, and I felt obligated to explore that.
So then, if it wasn't clear to you, why did you say, I understand?
Again, because I'm trying to connect and develop rapport with him. And what I did understand was that he was confused. So I explored it.
Well, you said, I understand, and then you basically asked him, do you have a lawyer? And you went down that path, correct?
I said, I understand, very softly said, I understand.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to continue that rapport that I'm developing with him. But what I really understood was the comments he just made were not clear, and I needed to clarify that.
So you were confused about what he said, but you said, I understand. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that I said, I understand, because I'm calmly talking to him, developing rapport. But what I really understood was he just muddied the water with what the comments that he just made in the single breath about he really didn't know. His words, I really don't know. If he doesn't know, I don't know what he wants.
Well, I really don't know. You took that to reflect on his request for a lawyer or what he'd been talking about up to the minute before?
No, we were talking about his request to wait for a lawyer. I really don't know. If he doesn't know, I don't know.
So,
Are you buying that this detective was confused about what this defendant wanted and he wasn't sure about the Miranda rights? I'm struggling with that. All right, we'll take a break. We'll have more on the other side. Keep it here on your front row seat to justice. Tonight on Closing Arguments, we're in a verdict watch in the case against Adam Montgomery. The New Hampshire father is accused of murdering his missing father.
He's not accused now. He's convicted. Piece of shit. Hate that guy. These guys can share a jail cell. I mean, that would be cool. That would help, you know. We're talking about the Rust thing.
Manslaughter. We'll take
in arguments tonight at 8/7 Central, only on
this has a
Court
few more
TV.
minutes.
All right, I'm going to take you back to
Hey,
court in just a minute.
Margo.
But right now, I want to
Welcome
bring
in,
back in our
everybody.
guests joining us to discuss, trial attorney Krista Rainey
Exactly, Jay. Why
and
even
LA
risk
County
it?
Public
Just do it.
Defender Philip Dubé. And Philip, I'll start with you. As I said, going out to the break, I'm struggling with some of the testimony here by this detective. On the one hand, the state is saying, hey, you know, part of their argument is that, you know, this guy, this defendant, you know, he had some experience with the system. He was comfortable. He was treated well. On the other side, you got a detective who's very experienced, has done thousands of these. And I'm struggling to believe that he didn't know better, not only about the request for the lawyer, but also the Miranda rights.
Of course, and that's why we do these Miranda hearings in front of a judge. A judge can see right through this. It's so transparent. It's not even funny. But the truth be told, unless there is an affirmative invocation, I hate to say it, the cop can use these types of weasel words, as I call them, to try to salvage this confession or whatever statement he gave. That's what they're going to do. And frankly, Michael, if we're honest, with all the other evidence that they have, they don't even really need this statement. So why even compromise your integrity, your believability as a detective on the case? They shouldn't be pulling these types of shenanigans. It's offensive to our system of justice. It's repugnant. But I do agree with you, he knows better. And I find it also disingenuous that he needs his little Miranda card, like a little flash card to read from verbatim, as if it's not indelibly etched in his brain. He must have Mirandized hundreds, if not thousands of people over the years, and to not know Miranda rights strains credulity as
Craig
well.
Ross
I agree.
Jr.
There's
too
not
for
a
Charlotte
defense attorney. There's not a prosecutor, detective, police officer who doesn't know that like the
Well,
back
I
of
will
their
say
hand.
this.
You can't tell me that's not the case.
I'm going to say this. I mean, I'm from the state of Ohio. It's a great state. The great state of Ohio. I don't know what our sign says, but it says something really stupid when you come into Ohio. Like, it doesn't make no sense. But from my interactions, I'm not like, I've never been like arrested, but you know what I mean? Like, no, I've never been in trouble like that. But from the people that I know that are in law enforcement, from the counties that I've been around, they're not very knowledgeable in their job, or they know, but they're kind of lazy. So this coming out is not really surprising me.
So
I mean,
Krista,
it's
to
like,
Philip's point,
what are you doing? But
what
it's
is
not
the reason?
surprising. Almost.
Why are they fighting it? And why is this
I
important
got to figure out ours,
to the
Margo. It's something
defense,
so
considering all the
stupid.
other evidence we know is there?
Well, first of all, I think all lawyers know this. I think the three of us probably knew that. First year of law school at our criminal procedure class, we had this memorized, right? Yeah, I think that you don't do the sloppy detective work, and I think that you fight it because there is some argument for equivocation. I disagree with Philip to the extent that I think that he thinks it's a lot more loosey-goosey in terms of invoking a right. I think that he did invoke a right, and then the questioning by the detectives is what made it, this detective is what made it more confusing. So that's kind of where I land on this.
All right, fair enough. And you know, again, a judge could certainly go in that direction, as Philip mentioned, without the, you know, the straightforward invocation of the right. So, and this is a high bar. Let's not, sugarcoat it. This is something that generally doesn't happen in the system. All right, guys, let's go back to court now for continued cross-examination of Detective Michael Ross.
Should we get you a lawyer? Why don't you do that?
I don't know why I didn't say that. I explored it the way that I felt was appropriate.
So what do you understand you're supposed to do when a suspect who's in custody clearly asks for a lawyer?
If they clearly ask for a lawyer, which I've done on other cases, on other homicide cases, they clearly ask for a lawyer, I stop questioning them,
right?
Which I've done before. In this case, he did not clearly say he wanted a lawyer.
But you said that you tried to clarify it with him. That's what you're saying these questions you asked him about, whether he had a lawyer or not, were designed to do.
I did try to explore that and clarify his comments, but he continued playing games with me.
Then you took him playing games with you by, when you asked if he could name a lawyer, he said his dad's name, Chase Doerman, right?
Yes, who's not a lawyer.
Right. And then he said Ruby Franklin, and she's in the CIA.
Yes, who's also not a lawyer, and somebody who he knows is not a lawyer.
Now, this was Thursday afternoon, right?
Yes.
In fact, you were involved and we were waiting for a verdict on another jury case in this very courtroom at that point, right? Do you remember that, the Marvin Armbruster case?
I do remember.
At this point, it's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. So
Well, if you knew how to get a hold of a lawyer, you knew if you didn't have a lawyer, what are you supposed to do?
If he doesn't have a lawyer,
I mean, you don't think the rule is that he has to name a lawyer or he doesn't get one, do you?
if he says, I want a lawyer, I stop my interview, which I've done on other homicide investigations. That's my obligation. He didn't say that in this case.
So you asked him questions about naming a particular lawyer, and he was not successful in doing that, right?
I was trying to explore those muddy water comments that he had just made to me by asking if there was somebody that I could call.
What about the public defender's office? You knew where I was, right? You knew where we were.
that's sustained.
Did you know how to reach anybody in the public defender's office?
Got an objection?
It's sustained. It's asking for speculation. Just
Well, I was asking what he
He's-
knows, Judge.
pretty much answered this question multiple times that he was trying to explore that. So I think we can move on.
All right.
Oh, I just noticed that too, Alex.
And I'm sorry.
Thank you, Jan.
You said
That's
you
so
let
nice
him,
of you.
or you took him, gave him a bathroom break at some point. What point in the process was that?
So much.
How far into it?
It was on the latter end, not the front end. It was, I couldn't tell you exactly when it was without referring to the video, but it was towards more than halfway is what I'm trying to say, I believe.
Now, I recall one part of it where he asked for a break. Do you remember that?
Yeah, there was another part where he begged me to take his cuffs off because he's not going to hurt anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. You did not take his cuffs off, right?
No, he doesn't control the interview. I do.
Fine. Okay. So he asked for a break. He didn't get the break, did he? Not then.
Well, I don't know exactly what break you're referring to, but no problem. The break that he had was when he went to the restroom with Deputy Greer,
Okay.
somewhere beyond halfway.
And you don't know when that is in time in reference to when he asked for a break?
Not specifically, I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, that's going to wrap up our coverage for today. Once testimony wrapped up, the judge asked for memos from both sides and said that she would take it under advisement and rule in the coming days.
Sorry, I was trying to type in the chat. Thank you, Jan, for gifting out some memberships. That's so nice. We have so many new members. We're have to do a members only live. Jana Banana was in here just Oprahing us last night. I haven't seen her tonight. Wonder what she's doing. Probably Oprah and someone else. I don't know. But she's very generous last night. Everybody was. It was a very generous live. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys really had me in my feelings. So basically he wants the confession tossed because the officer that was interviewing him didn't read him his full Miranda. Now they give you a little card that you put in your little pocket. And it has the Miranda on it. Like you literally just read from the piece of paper. And then you say, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. If you can't afford an attorney will be provided to you at no cost. Do you waive your right? Do you want your right to attorney? Do you have your right? Or do you want to talk to us? And they'll say like yes or no. And then they give you a piece of paper and you fill it all out and then you sign it. Just like we saw, in the Aubrey Cunningham case. They had him sign that paper when he wrote no lawyer. He didn't want a lawyer. That one. And he signed it. Well, thank you, Elisa. Thank you for the $1.99. That's so sweet. Thank you. And I think on your side now, I like on your, like on the chat side, if someone does like a super sticker, you can like it. I think that's really cool. I saw that in another chat. I was like, well, that's awesome. But there was another video I was going to show you. It had more of the other officer. It has like the same guy kind of on there too. But it just kind of goes through what, you know, what they were saying. And we'll talk about it in the chat. But I mean, he should have known. He should have just known. He should have known that he needed to read it. I mean, this is a high profile case. Can you imagine if something like this happened in the Brian Koberger case? Oh my Lord. Oh my Lordy. If they had him on a confession or something, and then, yeah, like, I mean, I could see everybody being up in arms about that. Like, oh, no, you know, not our boy Brian. What are we waiting on for that? I think decision from the judge. Well, ALR coming in with the gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, is it a movie, Alan? I'll watch the movie go. I will. To get it thrown out, yeah. Thank you for gifting the memberships. That's so sweet. Thank you. Minnie V, Lucy, Irene, Deborah, and Carla. Well, welcome in, everybody. I missed a lot last night and early. We went over a lot the last few nights in cases. If you guys have need any updates, I mean, in any cases that are involving children, I don't know what it's been on this channel, but there's a lot of cases involving children. If you need any updates at all, we probably covered it over the weekend. It might not be in the title, but we definitely talked about it. So I'll play this and we'll listen to see what they have to say. And I'll look some stuff up to see if there's anything out there that's new.
Silent and use it.
Deputies on the stand as the Ohio dad accused of executing his 3 young sons claims detectives violated
turn
his
them off
rights.
and then turn them back on.
We have the top moments from the hearing in Chad Doerman's case. I'm Antoinette Levy, and this is Crime Fix. Chad Doerman could be put to death if he's
look at his eyes,
murdering his 3 young sons.
Like, they might show him again, but he looks like a deer in the headlights. He's just like, every time he goes in, I don't think he always looked like that, right? I mean, just very, very deer in the headlights.
Hunter and Chase at his home in Claremont County last June.
Aww.
What Doerman's accused of doing is absolutely unthinkable. Prosecutors said Doerman laid down in his bedroom with his wife and sons to take a nap, and then pulled a rifle from a gun safe and started shooting the boys. Prosecutors say Doerman's wife and daughter tried to save the boys, running away with them and even suffering gunshot wounds as they tried to stop the carnage.
Can you get the wallet out of my back pocket? Shut up, dude. Yeah, the right to remain silent.
Sheriff's body cameras recorded deputies finding Doerman sitting on his front porch with a .22 caliber rifle.
He's sitting there right in front of his unalived son. Right in front of him. Right in front of him. Like, he's not even around the corner. They're not even around the corner, or like, you know, not in eyesight. It's literally feet in front of him. I'm surprised the dog wasn't over there.
Say Dorman made multiple statements, including, "I did it. Take me to jail."
This was premeditated. He's been thinking about this for a while.
But Dorman's lawyers say the detectives violated their client's rights when they questioned him in several ways. They claim Dorman asked for a lawyer, and detectives ignored that request. At a hearing this week, deputies and detectives were questioned about how they handled Dorman, beginning with him being taken into custody.
I told him he had the right to remain silent and use it.
Okay. I'm sorry, what was that last comment? You said you...
I told him he had the right to remain silent and use it.
Okay. And did he respond to you, sir?
He did.
And what did he say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what did you take that yes, sir to mean?
That he understood I didn't want him to talk.
So after Dorman arrived at the sheriff's office, he was placed in an interview room. Detective Michael Ross testified about reading Dorman his Miranda rights from a card, but he didn't read the entire card. Take a listen.
One's talking about advice before you question, the other's talking about having a lawyer present during questioning, isn't it?
Yes. I'm not a robot. I probably should have read the entire card, but I'm not a robot.
And then you read, if you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed that you left out for you before any questioning if you wish, right?
Again, yes, I must have left that out.
So that's a little concerning. In a triple homicide, you should probably read the entire card word
But
for
it was
word
like a sentence.
to ensure
I
you're
mean,
dotting all of your I's and crossing all of your T's, to ensure you've read the suspect his rights and that he understands them. The questioning by Doerman's attorney continued.
Because I
Thank you,
believed that he
Dan.
wanted to talk to me based on
trying.
our short interaction earlier in the interview where I said that I wanted to talk to him, and he said, that's fine. Actually, I said, I want to talk to you if that's okay. And he said, that's fine.
Were you afraid he was going to say no? I
No,
don't want to talk
wasn't.
to you?
No, I wasn't afraid. I'm just not a robot. I didn't read the card word for word.
Well, you should have.
I
Buddy,
read
buddy.
to him his Miranda rights and Miranda warnings.
How many interviews do you think you've done today?
Probably hundreds as a detective and probably thousands as a road patrol.
Assistant Prosecutor Laura Barone Allen asked Detective Ross about other statements Doerman made during the interview.
He had made a comment that the Bible says that you kill your firstborn, you kill your secondborn, you kill your thirdborn, but first you're supposed to kill your wife. I didn't kill my wife. So I really thought that was a very important comment that he had just made. And I wanted him to repeat to me some of the things that he had said. And I was asking him about that, and he cut me off. He stopped me from talking and said, I'll just, in all in one sentence, he says, I'll just wait for a lawyer. I really don't know. Like, give me a couple days. I'll talk to a lawyer and get nice, good answers. He says that all in basically one breath.
Thank you, Peace House,
So
for becoming
Detective
a
Ross, he
member.
revealed a lot there. But at the
Thank
end, you
you.
heard him say that Chad Doerman said that he would
Good
talk
luck,
with the lawyer and
Cheryl.
get, quote, good answers.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Ross went on explaining what he said happened with Doerman when it came to this discussion about a lawyer.
I felt obligated to explore it a little bit, yes. So I did. I asked him if he had a lawyer.
And what did he indicate to you?
He said, we have family lawyers.
And did you follow up
It
on
should
that?
come naturally to
Yeah,
him.
again,
I mean, you're right, Jay. Like, it says I'm not a robot. That's ridiculous. He knew damn well that's important, but he was just being sloppy. Yeah, I think what it was, he was being sloppy. Like, I think in his mind, he was so cocky and confident that he knew that Miranda warning verbatim that he missed things. Or maybe he missed them on purpose, but he did miss them. Thank you, Lisa, for the super sticker. That's so sweet. Thank you. You guys have been so kind tonight. Thank you so much.
I felt like
Thank you.
pulling teeth. I'm trying to get him to talk about it. Tell me, who's your lawyer? So I asked him if there was somebody we could call. And he said, Keith Dorman and Ruby Franklin.
And did he give you any
I
information?
wonder who
about
Ruby
those
Franklin is to
two
him.
individuals?
Yes, I followed up with them. Keith Dorman is his father, and neither one of those people are attorneys.
So he was able to tell you Keith Dorman is his dad. What did he say about Ruby Franklin?
He said that she was in the CIA, and I said, well, is she a lawyer in the CIA? And he said, she's in the CIA. So neither name that he gave me were even close to lawyers.
When questioned by Doerman's lawyers, Detective Ross said Doerman's request for a lawyer wasn't exactly clear to him.
So what do you understand you're supposed to do when a suspect who's in custody clearly asks for a lawyer?
If they clearly ask for a lawyer,
Yeah.
which I've done on other cases, on other homicide cases, they clearly ask for a lawyer, I stop questioning them.
Right.
Which I've done before.
Stop
In this
questioning.
case, he did not clearly say he wanted a lawyer.
But you said that you tried to clarify it with him. That's what you're saying these questions you asked him about, whether he had a lawyer or not, were designed to do.
I did try to explore that and clarify his comments, but he continued playing games with me.
While prosecutors say Doerman admitted to shooting his 3 sons, they also say he denied it.
And at any point during the interview, did the defendant deny shooting his sons that day?
Yes, multiple times throughout the entire interview till the very end.
It also came out that Doerman was captured on camera saying a number of other things.
He said, almost like under his breath, like a whisper, What the did I do? Another point, he says, what the did she let me do?
Blaming it
Another
on
time,
the
it looked like
wife.
he was checking the back of his shirt for blood. There was another point where he's looking around and he says, where's the cameras? Where's the cameras? So he was looking for cameras.
And Dorman's defense attorneys dropped a little bit of a hint about what they might claim at trial.
You've dealt with mentally ill people before?
For 26 years, I've dealt with mentally ill people, yes.
You understand sometimes they're not dealing in reality?
I believe that's probably true, yeah.
You
Sometimes they're
understand
not.
what psychosis is?
Well, now you're getting outside of my knowledge of mentally ill people.
Okay. So do you accept that sometimes mentally ill people will behave in ways that may seem like one thing when it's not?
In my experiences, and again, as a police officer, my experiences dealing with mentally ill people typically don't know that they're mentally ill.
Judge Richard Farrant did not rule on the defense request to throw out Chad Doerman's statement. He could do that in the next month or so. The prosecutor in this case, Mark Tacalvi, has made it clear he will not settle for anything less than having Chad Doerman executed. So what does all of this testimony mean for this murder case? Mark Weaver has prosecuted death penalty cases in the state of Ohio, and he's a former deputy Ohio attorney general. Mark, first off, let's talk about this issue about the Miranda waiver card and what the detective in this case said he read to Chad Doerman. He said he didn't read the whole card. Is he required to read the entire card? Because the suggestion is that Chad Doerman may not have understood all of his rights under the circumstances, and that the cops messed up when they're sitting there trying to read his rights and they don't read every little word on the card.
Yeah, defense counsel here doesn't have much to work with. I prosecuted a couple death penalty cases against the lead death penalty lawyer.
He planned this for months and months and months and months before he carried it out by his own admission.
In this case, Greg Myers, I saw him in the hearing.
They better get that convention thrown out, or he's
little
going to jail for the rest of his life.
angles
Actually,
they can pursue. So at the
he's going to be
suppression
going
hearing,
to
they're
hell
trying
before,
to stop the
before he knows
confession
it.
from coming in. We all know there's lots of
K-Bird,
evidence.
I think they are.
This is not some other dude did it defense. Everybody knows who did it, but it's the job of the defense to try to impede or slow down or otherwise delay the state's case. And this latest act is the notion that the Miranda card was not read from. Miranda comes from the U.S. Supreme Court, Miranda versus Arizona. That decision and its other case law that came from it don't require a police officer to read the rights from a card, but it is the best practice. A police officer who always reads from the card word for word will have an easier time in future suppression hearings than one who looks at it and summarizes the main point. The standard is, did the officer warn the defendant of the key messages from the Miranda warning, which we're all familiar with from TV? It sounds as though that they did. The judge will make the final decision.
Another concern here, watching this hearing, was the fact that the detective on the stand testifying said, you know, he said stuff about a lawyer, and this is under questioning by the defense. You know, he said stuff about a lawyer, and then it sounded like he said Laura, and so I was confused. But there was mention of a lawyer and possibly wanting a lawyer by Chad Doerman. So I always thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, that once a defendant mentions a lawyer, the questioning should stop. And, you know, it's kind of incumbent upon the detective in the room to say, wait, are you asking for a lawyer? But the defense is saying, you didn't do that. You didn't ask that clarifying question. Your response to that?
Two things can be true at the same time. First, it is black letter
I hate that saying.
It's well settled that when a defendant who's in a custodial interrogation, which the defendant was in this case, makes a clear request to speak to a lawyer before answering.
He got home, he died.
But the questioning must stop. That's no
okay,
doubt
Lisa.
that's the law. The question for this judge is whether that's what happened in this particular interrogation. The facts, as I understand them, show that the defendant was kind of vague, wasn't very clear, made a reference to a lawyer, and then immediately followed up with, well, I don't know. and then talked about some people who could be lawyers. Turns out they weren't lawyers. One was his father. Someone works for the CIA. Frankly, I didn't quite follow it. Some of this could be construed as confused mutterings by this defendant. And so this judge will have to decide whether that was enough to stop the interrogation. The prosecution early in the hearing pointed out several different phrases involving lawyers that were so vague that Ohio courts have said that's not enough to trigger the requirement to stop the questioning. So the judge is going to have to read those cases and decide whether or not that was enough to stop the question.
So you're saying the defendant has to basically say, I want a lawyer. Like it has to be a clear request. You can't just start talking about a lawyer.
All of us have rights under the Constitution, but we also have obligations to make known whether or not we're waiving those rights or whether we're standing on those rights. Officers do not have to be mind readers. The judge, I think, is going to find that the combination of words that this defendant said was not enough to stop the questioning.
There was also some testimony by some of the deputies who arrived on the scene. And, you know, you and I have talked about this before, that the defense took issue with the fact that I think one of the deputies said, you know, close the door, you know, when they put Dorman in the cruiser.
I thought he said,
close
shut
the door so I don't kill the mother effer and stuff like that. They were cursing and
they were not cursing that much. No. And Jeanette. For what those officers came up on, I was so surprised that I could play the whole video and there was only like one cuss word I heard. And that's when they were walking him back to the cruiser. And I thought they said like, shut the F up or something. But maybe not. Maybe they said, I don't remember them saying I'm going to F and kill him, but maybe that's what they said. I mean,
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to tactic.
No training can get you prepared to see that.
Case law on deputies and cursing at and, you know, making their disdain known for a suspect, especially when they arrive on the scene and see 3 young children dead?
Deputies are human and they're going to react as humans do, particularly in this horrific case. Of course, the founders of our country who wrote the Constitution wanted to make sure that interrogations didn't look like the torture chambers of Europe. And that's why they wrote some of the things they did in the Bill of Rights. The only reason I think they're raising this defense counsel is to suggest that somehow this was some abusive process of this defendant that perhaps forced him into confessing. Calling him a name, slamming the door, not adjusting the cuffs to his liking, not adjusting the air conditioning to his liking. This is nowhere near the sort of abusive environment that might trigger some judge ruling to hold back the interrogation from evidence.
And finally, Mark, there was some discussion about HIPAA and the fact that Chad Doerman received some care from medical professionals and that there were body cameras rolling during all of this, and that should not be used according to the defense. That shouldn't be allowed at trial because he was in a medical setting, even though he was in custody, so that anything he said there shouldn't be used against him. Your response to that?
These defense lawyers have very little to work with, so let's give them an A for creativity. I've not seen HIPAA raised in a suppression hearing before. I'm not sure what they're trying to achieve here. Early on in the hearing, one of them acknowledged it would not be a basis for suppression. Suppression hearings are supposed to be when constitutional issues are raised, typically Fourth Amendment and Fifth Amendment constitutional issues. HIPAA is a federal statute that provides privacy in health communications that are stored digitally. And as the state mentioned, there's an exception in HIPAA for people who are in jail or prison. So I don't think the judge will do much with that. It struck me as an odd thing to bring up. But remember, I've not been a defense lawyer. I've always been on the prosecution side. These defense lawyers don't have much to work with, and they're trying to do what they can for their client.
Mark Weaver, thank you as always for coming on. We appreciate it. We'll wait to see how the judge rules probably in the next month or so.
Always good to be back with you, Jeanette.
Okay. There probably is a restraining order. I think there is. Oh, yeah, it won't let you probably do links, but I don't know. It might time you out. What was I going to say? There's probably a restraining order between them. I was gonna say something. Yeah, normally, okay, so normally in Ohio, and I don't know where I was talking about this at. I don't know if it was on our live or not, or if it was like another live. I think it was another live, but in the state of Ohio, in the great state of Ohio, you can have a restraining order against somebody. Like, okay, I can have a restraining order, let's say against Jan, right? And I can go to the local Walmart, but if Jan shows up, she has to be the one to leave. Like, that's what the restraining order is. Like, kind of like I can have contact with her, but she can't have contact with me. But for the most part, the judge just tells you guys, stay away from each other. Normally the victim doesn't want to talk to the person that they're putting the restraining order on anyway. So she probably is in court just to see if she can, like, just to see what she can hear. And then once they pick a jury, they may not let her come back into the courtroom because she'll be testifying, during the trial. So they may have her just stay, somewhere else so she doesn't hear anything, see anything, do all that. I don't know, T. Salas. I'm wondering the same. She was ALR. She said she said, shoot him, just shoot him or something like that. Shoot him. And then she said, he killed my boys, my babies. They were so little. They were so little. Like, I remember her saying that, like they were so little. And I was like, oh, bro, that breaks your heart. Breaks your heart. Just really does. Let me see if there's anything on the Twitter. They're talking about how, like, detective tells what, okay, like someone was like, he was much more like nicer than I would have been the cop. So, okay, according to the hearing this week, these are the parts in red of the Miranda warnings that were not read by the detective during Chad Doerman's questioning. Okay, I'm going to share her Twitter with you guys too. I think she has a page or a YouTube. And I'm going to put her Twitter, though, in here because I don't know her YouTube. I just know her Twitter. But I want to make sure I put that in there. So I'm going to use her, the little thing that she put up. So, because I was going to write it down. And so I'm glad but it was like towards the end and I couldn't get them all. So I wanted to see like what exactly he didn't say and what exactly he did say. So it's kind of small. Let's see if I can blow it up a little bit. So that way we can all see it a little better. So here it says, Miranda writes, I think I really did. I think I nailed this when I read them out, when I said it earlier. This is what he did. This is what he read. You have the right to remain silent. Anything, actually, I'm going to read it to you guys. Close your eyes. I think everyone knows the Miranda warning. I'm going to read it to you and I'm going to read you what he read. And I'm just going to skip over the parts he didn't read. And then I'm going to reread it with the parts that he missed. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to the presence of an attorney to assist you prior to questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed. Do you understand? To me, that sounds fine. I mean, I don't know. To me, I can understand you probably have to read them all, but this is the only thing he missed. So he said, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to the presence of an attorney to assist you prior to questioning. This is the part he left out. Prior to questioning and to be with you during questioning if you so desire. He did say this part. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed. But he didn't say for you before any questioning if you wish. Then he said, do you understand? But he didn't say these rights. And then he didn't say, are you willing to answer some questions? Like, I don't know. To me, it's kind of like, Oh, you're fine. You're fine, Lisa. If Nightbot times you out, it's not us. Just remember that though. Because sometimes if you like Cheryl put in hi to people when it was timing her out. I timed her out. I think Nightbot has a thing for Cheryl. Nightbot's always messing with Cheryl. It seems like. Speaking of which, let me see. That could be a fun giveaway. We might have to do that sometime. Like I have a thing on my Nightbot and it will give me my top chatters for the evening. And the other night when we were looking at it, it was Cheryl. So I don't know if it does it by night. I'll have to look into it, but that could be a cool little like giveaway or something. Like whoever, I mean, I guess you'd have to put a lot of messages in though. I don't want people to spam the chat, but maybe we could do it for like the week, the top chatter of the week. But the top chatter today, I think it's just tonight, is Ladybug. Look at that. And it timed one person out. I did say that. We've had 1,104 messages in the chat tonight. Wow. Yeah, it says, oh my gosh, it timed. Oh, because she posted a link. That's what it is. But it doesn't say that. It says, thanks, Jan. And Casey, I'm in a chair off of emergency. Oh, it's because there was a period between I'm and in, I bet. That's so stupid. Yeah, how'd you know that was a link? I didn't even see the link. I was like, dang. I was like, Jan, call something. Let me see. Oh yeah, that bot blocked you, didn't it? I think it did. It blocked someone after they gave me a super chat one time. I was like, oops. Or no, actually, I blocked them on accident. I try to use my words better online, just because Nightbot, you're fired. Nightbot really needs to be fired. The first time, if you ever create a YouTube page, just a warning for you. When you get Nightbot for the first time, Nightbot will time everybody out in your live. They just will. He just will. He doesn't like people. I used to set it. Remember when Eddie would come in and Eddie would always say, hi, Nightbot. And one time I set it to say, hi, Eddie. So when he came in, I hit the button and he said, hi, Nightbot. And it said, hi, Eddie. He was like, what the hell? It freaked him out. It freaked him out. After you gifted it booted you, I just got back on, man. What is it doing? I wonder why it's doing that. Like, I can't even turn it off. Like, it's a new thing that they did. And I don't know if it's YouTube or Nightbot. I'll have to have Vincent look at it. Because, like, custom, yeah, they're just so weird. Yeah, I'm at the, like, they're all disabled. What are you doing, weirdo? Oh, yeah, just block it. I thought you said you were just blocked again. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, just block Nightbot. I didn't even know you could block Nightbot. I wonder if I could do it. I don't know if I want to do that, though. I guess you can. Oh, wait, I can report Nightbot. What? Hide, put user in timeout. Maybe I should put him. Maybe I should put Nightbot in timeout then next time. Moon in retrograde. Then there's a full moon. Yeah, there's a full moon. We need to talk about it. I want to do a live on my other channel so bad. It's just been, we're always busy on the weekends. It seems like I only get Vincent for a little bit. And I bet you anything, he's probably asleep. Oh, I'm going to wake him up. I tried to wake him up with his Valentine's Day card the other night. It was pretty cute because it sings. He didn't wake up. Did someone come in? Stephanie? Oh, Stephanie came in. Oh, I was like, wait. Aries is drunk. It is. Aries is fun. Maybe Nightbot should ban toxic creator. That's the comment of the year. I need that on a shirt. See, we need to make shirts. I was saying them all day today to Vincent. I'm gonna get him on board with the press. Actually, I did get him on board a little bit today. We went to I got this sweater today at Dry Goods. It's like it's a boutique store. And so we're just like going through and we're like looking, and there's these cute sweaters they had there. They were just sweatshirts and they said Dry Goods on them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the qualities of these like are great. Like they felt really soft. Like I bought one, but I bought 3 or 4 other things. And this is the same brand of the sweaters. So I think I'm going to order these sweaters online, like the plain, not the one I have on, and then make different sayings on them. And then I'm just going to wear them on our lives. So, it may say like hashtag I am Idaho 4. It may just say hashtag Paul or something. I don't know. We're going to think of them because we think of things like once a night. So yeah, I know. I need a list of all of them. T-Salas. I really do. I need a list of all of them and then y'all be saying some stuff in the chat. It's funny. I know. You need to make me one. You should. Oh, I mean, that'd be nice. You can have for a few giveaways. That's so sweet. I'll buy them off of you. I really want some like cool t-shirts to wear. I love wearing t-shirts in the summertime. But today I was like, Vincent, we're going to go in a store and I'm going to buy a sweater that is not black or gray. Black or gray, because that's all I've been wearing around y'all. And I was like looking back on my videos. I'm like, girl, you've been wearing like the same stuff. Like in one of my videos, I wore Vincent's sweater 3 times last month or something. And I own a boutique. I'm like, Tanya, I have a closet full of beautiful clothes. But it's just, I'm a comfortable person. But this is super comfortable, so I'm excited. Right? What a tangled web we weave. Yeah, that's a good one. Your favorite color is purple, Aries? I didn't know that. My mom's favorite color was purple. Let me see. I think I have something purple. I'll have to think of something. We went by Altered State. Oh, I don't know if you guys know what that store is, but it's beautiful. And they have these beautiful dresses in the window, and I wanted them so bad. I wanted to take pictures in a prairie in them. Right? All things Alvamos. I appreciate that. Thank you. I was late today because I wanted to look nice for you guys. I was like, I need to switch it up. So I'm wearing green or like teal. I don't know. And it has flowers on it. My favorite color is pink, every shade. Really, Ivy? I think that my favorite color is green. Definitely green for sure. But I wear a lot of black and gray. And I never did that before. When like I just started doing that like this winter. And I don't know if it's because like I gained a little bit of weight. I used to be like super skinny girl. And maybe that's why I'm like wearing darker colors. I don't know. But I'm literally I wear all the time. I don't know if you guys notice, but I literally wear gray or black every night. All the time. I don't think I bought anything gray or black. I didn't. Jane's favorite color is green too. Pink does rule though. But I do love green. I love the color green. I think it's such a pretty color. I probably wouldn't even be that mad to have like a green emerald kind of like a wedding ring or something. You know, like it's something different. You wear a lot of gray, black, tan, white. Me too, Stephanie. My closet is like, there's no color. And they used to say that, like when I used to be a manager at a boutique, I would set the walls like the way I wanted them. And I would set them like me, and they were all like brown, beige. I mean, I'm a plain person usually. And, but they'd have like a shirt like this in the middle, give it a little bit of something, but everyone would be like, where is your yellows and your like pops of like blues, like your bright blues? I'm like, I don't know. But I would have like a blue wall, but it wouldn't like, you know, it wouldn't have like the weird animal print, I guess. Like, I don't know. Her birthday is green. Oh, T-Salas. Mine's pink, actually. Mine's October. Well, or opal. Blue and black as far as clothes go. Me too. You guys will have to check out my boutique sometime. I'll put the link in the chat. It's a very cute store. And Vincent was talking to me today. And he's like, we really got to get you some stuff for the store. And I'm like, I like the way you're thinking, buddy. I like the way you're thinking. And I don't know what he was doing, but he's like taking measurements in here earlier. So hopefully he's doing something nice. He's always doing something nice. He's always doing something nice. May, I was going to ask what day or what month. Oh, it means nature or green. Okay, well, I'm going to go with nature. Aries. Yes, Elisa, I was going to ask you about that, Ivy. How is your journey going? Wow. Using lighter colors, Ivy. I bet that's a good feeling. Because you went through it in the beginning. You were having, it was rough. But I'm glad it's better. I am waiting to lose a few more pounds to buy some items from your boutique. Oh, I have looked at it and you have nice things. Thank you. I have the cutest little pink dress. It's like, I think 1X through 3X, but the 1X is small. Like it doesn't, like, I don't know, the way it fits, it's not like a real big fit. It's like more of a, I don't know. It's so pretty. I almost bought the same dress today in blue so that I could take a picture in it to show everybody what it looked like on. And I do have mannequins and stuff. So like, if you go into my like TikTok, or if you go to like Poppy and Ari TikTok or Poppy and Ari boutique on Facebook or Instagram, you'll find me and I'll be on there. I have like all of my mannequins. I did like videos. I used to do all kinds of cool stuff. So I just haven't done them in a while. Fintan, Burke, we know BK's innocent. We're over here. We're like We can't wait for BK to get out of there. They're doing them dirty. You come in every night. You say that. We're never talking about BK though. I'm just going to troll the trolls now. I love the color white though, Aries. I'm a white person. To me, it means like purity. I don't know. Jan, you lost almost 60 pounds. Jeez Louise, you guys are making me want to go work out. Oh, you've been having your days all. 35 pounds since last June. Dang, Jesus loves me. What's your secrets? I need to do that. Mine is I'm sitting more. I'm not up and active. And I have a gym. You go out my door and you walk about 50 feet. And then you open the door and you're there. It's not, when people say like, oh, the gym's too far. It's, no, the gym can be in your backyard. You still won't go. I don't know. I like to eat on the treadmills and stuff. And they put this camera up and it literally shines a light on me. And it just videotapes me while I'm working out. And I'm like, who wants to work out just being filmed like that right in front of them? Like it's not up in the corner. It's literally straight dead on. And I'm just like, what? Lisa, I want to lose like about 15. I'm not that big of a girl, but I'm 5'8", 140. I've always been like 100 pounds, like 110. I've always was super small. So Alvin said, I'll lose weight spring to fall yard work. I bet you have a beautiful yard. I could see that, Alvin. I just need to start walking more. I feel like I'm going to have to do it. But you guys were so generous in the chat today. Oh my gosh. Doodle Mom has been a member for 4 months. Jan was gifting memberships left and right. She gifted 5, then she gifted 1, then I gifted 1, then she gifted 1. We were trying. Lisa had a super chat there with $1.99, and then ALR gifted 5. Jan gifted another one. T-Sauce became a new member. Then she gifted 5 memberships. It's so nice. And then Elisa gifted another 99-cent super sticker. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate that. It really does help the channel, helps me grow, and it helps me, be able to get out of this chair. I'm just kidding. Vincent was in here. Yeah, like I said, he was measuring stuff and he's been looking at stuff. I don't know what he's up to. Hopefully it's something good. Not like, I don't need for nothing. I don't need for nothing. We've got a computer, right? We've got monitors. We got a camera. Plus, if nothing else, I have my phone. I'll be like, hey, I can't share nothing with you, but we can talk. Because you can't really share like your screen on the phone. And then I have another microphone that hooks onto my camera. I have another microphone that hooks onto my phone that's wireless. And they're both that Rode brand, so they're really good. You start a YouTube channel, you better be prepared for a YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? I'm prepared. Plus, when you have somebody like Vincent that can, help you, like he's my help. He's my silent partner. He's my IT. Audio visual too. The other night he wasn't here and I couldn't get my sound to play. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was freaking out. And it's because I needed to fast forward through the video. I was like, I can't go live. It was pretty funny. But thank you guys for talking to me. Oh, wow, Jan. So you lost some weight. That's awesome. And Ivy, 100 pounds, dang, and 60 pounds. Man, you got 35 pounds was in there. Wow. June 2, pre-opening night. Oh, Aries, that's awesome. We call her Opie. She's doing so cute. Oh, that's so cute. You guys are cute. By the way, I love this chat. Y'all, I really do. You guys are kind. I mean, Ivy needed our help last night. And when I don't even know who it was in the chat now, but if it was you holler at me and say, it was me. But somebody was like, where do you live? What state? She was like naming off state. She's like, do you live in this state or this state? I could be there to help you. And it wasn't like, I don't even think you guys had known each other other than in the chat that night. And it was like, I don't know. It was beautiful. Y'all made me cry sometimes. Like really, I get tears in my eyes when I think about it. Because I know that if I ever needed anything, I have so many people now that I can, if I'm in any state pretty much, even other countries, I know if I'm in Canada, I don't care where I'm at in Canada. If I need Cheryl will truck it there. I don't even care. I know she would. I know she would walk. She would bus. I know she would. She's my girl. But thank you guys all for being here tonight. Jan, thank you for being the best mod ever. You and Isabel, best mods ever. Don't let anyone ever tell you that you're not. I know. I love you guys. Thank you for being here tonight, Jan. And thank you guys all for being here tonight. Thank you for the memberships and the super chats and just being here, liking the video, subscribing to the channel, all the stuff. I appreciate it. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. I want to do so many lives, just not enough hours in the day. I want to do a members live and I want to do a live on my other channels. Maybe we could work that in tomorrow. Even if I'm not on camera, if I'm just doing something in here, I could just pop on, do a members live. But thank you guys all for being here tonight. I do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good evening. Bye, guys.